Good morning, friends. Welcome back to Astrology Today and Tarot. My name is Mel Rose. This is the Tarot portion and the second half of my daily astrology vlog, which you can check out on my other channel, Astrology Today with Mel Rose. Over there, you'll find a description of the day's astrology as I have spelled it out here. Here, I will discuss the card that sits on the side of the page, and then I'll play another card that, in the context of the day's astrology, may just give us something more to think about. So, let's get into it. The card that currently sits on the side of the page, and just for today, friends, it's going to change tomorrow, is the Five of Swords. And it's here because it corresponds in astrology with the first 10 days or the first decan of the sun's transit here in the land of Aquarius. Aquarius is an air sign, and swords in tarot represent air element symbolism. And air element symbolism has to do with the intellect and the rationale, the things we think, the things we plan, and how we communicate with others, okay? So we come to the Five of Swords, and if you think of swords as thoughts, plans, and communications, we see a person who feels like they may have won a victory here, right? One person, wind in their hair, big smile on their face, with three swords in hand, two hands, three swords, maybe a little more than you can really handle, right, at once. And then you see a couple of other people over here looking dejected, and they've been relieved of their swords or their thoughts, plans, and communications. So, this is an indication of a state of mind we get into sometimes where we have to win at all costs, or when we feel like we have to take over because the plan is not being followed, things are not going according to the plan, or things are just not going the way we think that they will. It sort of it indicates also a sort of unbridled ambition, right? Like, I have all the best words and the best plan, right? Y'all don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're doing. I'm not taking any input. We're going to do things my way from here on in, okay? And, that's one way to do it. So sometimes if you want something done right, you do have to do it yourself, especially if it's got to be perfectly right for you. However, when we don't take input, or when we cut people's input out, or fail to acknowledge it, or just don't allow people to sort of compete in the marketplace of ideas in our collaborations, okay? We sort of eliminate them as competition, and then we create resentment among those people, so that later on, when we're looking around for our co-conspirators, for our collaborators, it may be hard to find anyone who wants to play with us or work with us, because, we just can't be... we can't be beat, and we can't, and we don't allow sharing, and we're not taking input. So that can be kind of a pain in the butt kind of person to work with. So we want to be careful, in our collaborations, to remember that they are collaborations, to receive the input of other people, even if you are the person in charge, or even like me, or like Becca that I was talking to in the comments. We have a tendency sometimes to just sort of take over because, like we said, things aren't going to plan, or things, people don't appear to know what they're doing, right? It's still important to appreciate and recognize the contributions of others. And with that said, I'm going to turn this over. Okay, we got the Nine of Cups. Did we get this one recently? Did we get this one for this card? I think it's possible that we did. So the Nine of Cups are about, the cups are water element symbolism. That's about our emotions and our intuitions, about how things feel to us, right? And the Nine of Cups, I love just the very satisfied but guarded look this person has about them, right? They've stacked up all their emotional experiences, all their little emotional investments in a very balanced and pretty way. They feel like, this could be like me and my family, me and my connection to my group, me and my connection to my friends or my workplace. Or it could just be like, me and my satisfaction with the things with the connections I have with people in general, right? It's definitely an era of satisfaction. I definitely see sort of a guarded look to this person too, right? They've got their arms crossed. They've got their legs crossed. It looks to me like they might not be taking much input either. Right. They've already taken a lot of input. They've already sort of made these connections rather than fracturing them. They've made these connections, they've nurtured them, and they can feel happy about what it is that they have achieved so far in terms of their journey toward emotional fulfillment and their journey toward, that certain sort of intuitive knowing that comes with being well connected to yourself, to other people, to spirit in general, to your gut as well. Okay. And to your gut, by that what I mean is the intuitive part of ourselves. So where do I see this on the page? I'm going to take a sip. Cups always bring me to the moon because the moon is definitely a watery vibe. It rules Cancer, and it is it's about how we feel, and it's not just about our emotions, but it's about our body as well. Remember that when you have an experience and you have an emotional reaction to it, that emotional reaction comes with a physical sensation. It comes with perhaps some certain questions that come up, and also that certain knowing that arises that we can call sort of intuition or the hunch. Right? So moon today is in Taurus. We are a waxing gibbous, and that is the week during which, between the first quarter moon and the full moon, during which we are taking action to culminate plans that we have made, taking action to sort of complete some goals that we have set for ourselves, either with this new moon or with new moons past. And it doesn't have to be like a full completion with the full moon. It just means, we have to have made some progress so that when we get to the full moon, we have something to look back on and feel that sense of accomplishment and say, yes, I have made progress on my goals. We get to feel with the full moon, that sort of personal satisfaction that comes with having, worked for what we knew was right for us and accomplished some good finalities, that we've gotten some things out of the way, right? So moon is in Taurus. Moon in Taurus is a time, moon in Taurus, before it's in Taurus, it's in Aries, and that's a very fiery start to a cycle. It's very much initiative. We sort of speed ahead. We want to get things started. We're in a bit of a hurry. We don't want to be very direct about doing things. And so when it moves into Taurus, it's like, okay, we can come back down to earth. We can slow down and follow through on the things we got started when the moon was in Aries, right? We can set a pace that doesn't have to be a hurried pace. It doesn't mean that we're not doing anything, but it does mean that we can be sort of grounded. We can get comfortable. We can stick with what is familiar, and we can gather to us the stuff and things that we need to culminate these goals, to complete some things, so that we have that sense of accomplishment with the full moon. So yes, definitely moon in Taurus gives me that sense of emotional satisfaction, right? Like, okay, I made a good start. I don't have to keep hurrying. I don't have to stay in a rush. I can just slow down. I can feel myself. I can use my body to do the work, and I can also use my body. That's very Taurus, to gather to me the things that I need to get that sense of accomplishment that I would love to have. Also, in terms of Nine of Cups, we have Venus and Neptune both in Pisces at this time. And I know I talked about this the other day, but Venus still somewhat conjunct to Saturn, still within 10 degrees, but they're in different signs now. So that makes it a little more, it makes it a little more wobbly. But it's very much like Saturn in Aquarius is wanting to establish safety, support, structure, networks of support, for the good of the many, not just for the good of the few, right? Whereas Venus in Pisces is like opening up our compassionate hearts to the good of the many, like wanting everybody to be able to receive the things that they like, love, and can't get enough of, because that's what Venus does for us. It helps us draw in those things that we desire. And Venus in Pisces says, oh, everybody should be able to get what they desire at this time. Everybody should get to feel that emotional satisfaction of feeling the love and the support and the level of commitment that we would like to feel, right? Of receiving what we put out, of getting what we've given, of feeling that balance of reciprocity as well. And then Neptune in Pisces here, very super creative vibe that we've been in for a long time now. Imagination without boundaries, imagination without restrictions. Neptune in Pisces, really encourages us to go beyond even the sort of mental boundaries we put up for ourselves in terms of creating our future, creating our lives as we would like to have them. It says, don't stop at, I don't think I could do that. Don't stop at, I don't see how that could happen, right? Just imagine an ideal circumstance for yourself, and then, take any opportunity that moves you in the direction of that ideal circumstance. And Neptune is sextile here. Where are we sextile to? Both Pluto and to the moon today. So moon is trine to Pluto today. When moon is in aspect with Pluto, stuff comes up, all right? And with a trine aspect, it's usually a blessing. It's a really positive, good sign. It indicates ideal sort of ease of functioning. So stuff can come up, things that were hidden, things that were secret, things we didn't know about, things that we did know about, but we didn't really ever want to bring out. That stuff comes up, and it actually can have the effect at this time of sort of easing us through the transformations we're going through, easing us through the sort of deep and total changes that we are always going through, that Pluto is always bringing us through those high highs and low lows of experience, so that we can sort of aggregate those experiences into a transformed way of being. So Neptune in the cooperative position with both of those planets, with the moon and Pluto, is just saying, imagine your ideal circumstance at this time as you're going through these transformations and changes, as you're going through these high highs and low lows of experience. Keep in mind what that ideal circumstance is for you, regardless of what barriers you think might be in the way of you getting it. Just keep your heart open to it so that you can see the opportunities when they arise. Okay, and taken together with the Five of Swords. This person doesn't look like they're receiving any input, but that doesn't, like, from out here, right? The way they're facing, they're not receiving any input from us, right? They feel pretty satisfied with what they've got behind them. What they've got stacked up behind them is a lot of connection, a lot of emotional experiences and investments that they've made that have worked very well for them. Okay, so this is me and my friends, me and my family, very happy with that group, don't really need anybody else's input, right? Whereas this person, also not taking any input, tending to shoot people down, right? Not really open to any kind of collaboration, likely to wind up doing things on their own. This person's not going to wind up doing anything on their own. They've got all this connection. They've got this sense of community, this sense of family around them that they know will help them make that culmination to this sort of ultimate emotional sense of security and accomplishment in life. Whereas this person, just like halfway there, not even at a 9, they're at a 5, right? And they're feeling like the way to be victorious is to just to have all the best ideas, to be the one in charge of the plan, to be the one who speaks for everybody, and to really not acknowledge the input of other people. So there is a difference here. This person is not on a path to emotional fulfillment, and maybe they're not trying to be. Although, it came up for me yesterday that the emotion that comes with this is this sort of sense of victory, this sense of gosh, it feels good to be right all the time. Gosh, it feels good to be the smartest person in the room from your own perspective. Gosh, it feels good to be, to have the cleverest wit, to be able to say the smartest words, from that person's perspective. But in indulging that sense of victory and indulging that sense of that feeling of just being sort of superior, intellectually superior to other people. They are not making a lot of connections, and they're not going to find any emotional satisfaction down the road. This is a temporary emotional satisfaction that will not make any friends, right? And will not lead to this sense of connection to others. So again, the message that's coming across for me with the Five of Swords is very much like, invest in your connections, invest in the people who want to collaborate with you. If there are other people who are passionate about the same kind of thing that you're passionate about, receive their input, thank them for it, include it in your plans, especially if they're to help you carry out your plans, right? Don't just cut people down and think you have to do it yourself, or you wind up just being on your own and having to do it yourself, right? Not in this well supported, comfortable, satisfied place where I don't have to take input from the outside because I've already established these connections and nurtured them. So yes, please acknowledge the contributions of the people around you in your work, social, and civic sphere especially, but also in your personal life. Sun in Aquarius is a time when we are assessing, especially our relationship to the work, social, and civic sphere. It's a time when we are, seeing if things are working well for us and how well the things that we're engaged in actually benefit the collective. Okay, so when I win, does somebody else lose? That's really not the kind of winning we want in the sign of Aquarius. The kind of winning we want in the sign of Aquarius is the kind of winning that provides uplift and support to everybody involved, and perhaps even some people beyond it. Right. So let's keep that in mind. We don't just want to be a benefit to ourselves, and we it would be a real challenge to be a benefit to the collective just doing this stuff on our own and trying to be always just the best, the brightest, the smartest, and the cleverest in the group. All right, I think this is all I have to say about it today, friends. Thank you so much for joining me. I truly appreciate your presence here. My name is Mel Rose, and I'll see you all back here tomorrow for more Astrology Today and Tarot.